Hey there guys, welcome back. So right here I have a head sculpt that's conveniently a refrigerator magnet, and it's sculpted by Max Bierchenko. He sculpts a lot of other characters, and this guy has skill like no other. Now, I apologize in advance. This microphone is just gonna end up having to do. I'll chime in and talk about what I'm doing just so you can get a further explanation here and there, and just so the hissing of this crappy microphone doesn't bother you. I hit the head sculpt with several layers of Tester's All coat just so that the paint could adhere to the head sculpt a lot better. I went in with this pale flesh that I had mixed in as my base coat, and then I have this watercolor palette that I love to use when it comes to speckling smaller items. I had crudely cut this brush that I like to use, and all I'm doing is just flicking on layers of paint so it's orange, a burnt umber, white, red, purple, and blue. And I didn't seal anything. You can seal it if you absolutely want to, but this is just, I mean, I've done this long enough to be comfortable with it, so you can definitely do this on your own and practice if you'd like. For bigger head sculpts or life-size busts, I go with a bigger brush, of course. Now after I had speckled every color that I need for skin, I had went in with a watered down acrylic red and decided to hit the major blush points. So cheeks, nose, chin, and certain spots and dimples and areas in which you kind of have to pay attention to when it comes to the head sculpt itself. This is what he looks like right now. So I've mixed myself up a really fair skin tone. I always like to mix my paints, but yes, I always like to start out light so that I can actually progressively add more tints of brown into it in order to make it a little more human, a little more sun-kissed, if anything. So this is what he looks like right now, and I'm just gonna record myself. Now for this, I needed to absolutely eyeball the head sculpt as much as possible because I didn't want to get rid of all the work that I just got done to get to this point. So it's imperative that I eyeball how much paint that I'm putting down. The camera just couldn't be in the way for this portion. This is what he looks like right now. So it went very fair. I don't know if the camera's picking it up really quickly. Hold on. Okay. So there you go. As you can see, all the work that we had previously put down with all the speckling and laying down the blush points, getting that fair skin tone on top of that definitely makes this come alive, which is awesome. And believe it or not, we're not done yet with the skin. We're gonna end up doing a lot of the shading in the wrinkles, the chin, underneath the chin, and just a little more to give it that surrealistic look, bringing out the details that's within the sculpt itself. Now what I'm doing right here, I watered down some light brown, and I'm just going over the entire face portion to make it a little more alive, I guess, because having it the way before was just very pale, too fair for my liking. So this is what I like to do in order to get it a little more surrealistic. If I don't like it, then I can always go slowly in the process, but if I need him to be darker, a little more tan, I can always just repeat the process and seal it. Since I'm kind of far along in the skin, I decided to paint the base coat by hand, so when I mask it off, there's no bleeding and nothing touches the skin tone. It's just for reassurance, just for peace of mind, for me at least. Now that he's all red, I needed to go back to the skin and touch it up. I use Prismacolor when it comes to subtle shading on skin, and I also used it on a lot of the wrinkles on the cowl. And once I got done with that, I had went ahead and sealed it, and all that was left to do is do the color in the eyes and do some small corrections around the cowl, because a lot of the trim against the skin wasn't perfectly aligned, as you can see right here. And now for the big reveal. Now I decided to throw these two photos of him outside of my photo booth because the photo booth lights are a little too strong on this little guy and kind of blows out the skin. So here are the details. I made his eyes a little more on the blood red kind of look. I absolutely like it. This is what it looks like outside of the photo booth, outside of photos. It's just straight up video. That is it. If you learned something, like the video, subscribe, or just follow me on Instagram for future builds. If you need commissions or builds or anything like that, let me know.